starting a new book today. And I know of people who just like looked up what happened in the first and second and started on the third, which is blasphemy. I do feel fancy today. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Muggles and Mocha. We are fresh off of our video for our Harry Potter ranking. I hope that you enjoyed it. I had just the best time recording it, and even editing it, I was just smiling the whole time. And we're just gonna have to do more of those, where we just focus in on one topic or one thing, or do more ranking videos. I think I'm probably gonna talk about that a little bit more today, so yes, I hope that you enjoyed it. And I actually haven't even gotten to release it yet when I'm recording this video, so I hope that you guys comment and tell me what your Harry Potter ranking is. Which book is your favorite? Which one is your least favorite? Because I just love hearing from you guys, first of all. And second, I think it would be a really fun debate to have in the comment section. The secret is out. My favorite book is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. If you are wondering why, check out that video. I'll link it up here somewhere. And I think I did an okay job defending it. I mean, I believed myself when I was editing it. And if you're new here, welcome to our Harry Potter blog, Muggles and Mocha. We're going through all of the Harry Potter books one chapter at a time, and this blog is connected to my editing website, MadisonKdarby.com. I write articles there too. I'll be talking about the one that I've written for this week later on. So yeah, just check it out. I have social media there as well if you want to keep up with all of our news. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps with the algorithm, or so I'm told, so that would be nice. Feel free to share it with other Harry Potter fans in your life. We're starting a new book today. This is the perfect time to jump on board and get involved. And even if you're not reading along with us, if you've read the books, it's just fun to talk about them again. And then we have our coffee, of course, from Muggles and Mocha. And today, I am fancy, you guys. Like, this is the fanciest I've been on the show. Here is what I'm drinking out of today. It is a nice actual teacup. So I technically don't really have much coffee in it, but I've already had coffee today actually, so. But anyway, it is time for The Prisoner of Azkaban, and here it is. Doesn't it just look awesome? Like, I like that way better than the copy that I had growing up, you know, like with the original art, and I love the original art. But I think that the art for the third book was my least favorite. I don't know, it just doesn't look like Harry on the front of it to me. Now, in the ranking video, I told you guys that this book was my favorite for years. I won't go into all the reasons why here. I won't go into everything because we're obviously going to be talking about this book for a while. So it will be covered, everything will be covered, but I just hope you are ready for a fun ride. I do feel fancy today. So where we left off last time, Harry was fresh off of his second year at Hogwarts. He had learned he could speak a parcel tongue, which was a big deal, as we have discussed. See any of our videos from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets to find out why, because I talked about parcel tongue a lot. He met Tom Riddle, he fought and killed a basilisk, a phoenix cried on him, like, it was a big year. But in chapter 1 of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is called Outpost, we get a bit of a callback to just the dichotomy between the two worlds that Harry finds himself in. This is what my article is going to be about this week. You can find that in the description box below. Because in this book, I know that we've seen Harry at the Dursleys a lot now. We know, obviously, that the magical world is different from Privet Drive in, like, every way. But this is the time when I think that the difference is most stark to me up to this point. Like, last year when Harry got out of school, he didn't get any letters from his friends because of Dobby, well-intentioned Dobby, and so he was kind of trapped there at the Dursleys, and it was kind of just like it was when he was growing up. Here, you get to see that Harry's room and the letters that he gets from his friends and what Hedwig is able to do for him and connecting him to the wizarding world. It's almost like he's in two separate spaces at the Dursleys' house, like he's forced into this muggle box, and yet little traces of the wizarding world are still there. So yeah, that's what my article is about this week. We also get the first time that Harry's birthday is actually celebrated by the people in his life, which, besides Hagrid when Harry turned 11, this is the first time that this has happened. Like, he hasn't had birthday cards or anything like that. And so I think that is just really special. This may surprise you. I don't know why I'm picking up the rant stick, but whenever I state my opinion, it's like comforting to me. I think that chapter 1 of Prisoner of Azkaban was one of my favorite chapters of the book series for a long time, simply because it's so pleasant. It's a great beginning to this book, and I am a sucker for letters. I think that letters are an unappreciated, underrated form of communication. They're just beautiful, and you can learn so much about people from reading letters that they write or letters that they receive, and it just takes time and effort to create those for people. All right, I don't need to get on a rant about letters, but I like them, okay? I like the written word and whatnot. But letters aside, it's neat to see Harry have these sweet moments with his friends, even though they're not there. They're his only connection to the wizarding world, these letters, so he is like clinging to them. On another note, I also like the fact that owls are one of the only things that connects Harry to the wizarding world as well, and that's what makes Hedwig such a special character for me. Like, not only does Harry get her as a gift upon his initiation into the wizarding world, but she is just like always there when he has no one. She keeps him grounded and almost is like a hopeful symbol for him, because he knows that he is going to go back to Hogwarts and that magic is real, and she's like there to remind him of that. And honestly, her death, it's a bad one for me. I mean, I know like there's probably other deaths that hit a little harder for you guys, but I don't know. Whenever I watch the 7th movie, and I think I've brought this up before, when Hedwig dies, it's playing like this very tragic version of Hedwig's theme in a minor key, and she gets struck down, and I think I tear up every time because it's just really meaningful for me. And her death means more than just like Harry losing his pet. The moment that it happens, it's like the death of innocence, the death of Harry's old way of life. Like, he's never going to be going back to the Dursleys. He isn't safe anymore. You know, like Voldemort can reach him now at any time. It's him crossing into adulthood as well. Like, Hedwig was always a symbol of his childhood, and just him being a kid, and just like I said, innocence again. And then it also signifies him crossing over into the wizarding world forever. Like I'm going to write about in this article, we don't have the separation of Harry being in the Muggle world and the wizarding world and having to split time there. He doesn't have to do that anymore. But of course, we're going to be talking about that more, and Hedwig, when the time comes. I won't get ahead of myself. So, actually getting into chapter 1, we hear a little bit about what's happening with the Dursleys. As usual, it's horrible. They've locked up all of Harry's stuff, and he has to sneak it out of the cupboard under the stairs, which is stupid. Ron tries to use a telephone. It goes horribly wrong. That's a really funny scene. And Harry is just doing homework. That's kind of what we get at the beginning of this book before the letters come. And we also get the famous recaps that are present in these early books. At this point, like, it's not something I really enjoy reading, because of course, like, we've all read the books before, and we read the first and second book, so it kind of feels a lot like just a repeat of information. But this is like a really hard thing for authors, because at this point, J.K. Rowling had written the first and second, the third was coming out, and fans were still getting into the book series. And I know of people who just like looked up what happened in the first and second and started on the third, which is blasphemy. But nevertheless, it was happening. So at this point, it was still like pretty important for her to put those in here for those readers who might not have read the first books. And plus, kids are reading these, and if they had to wait for the books to come out and hadn't read them again, they might have forgotten some things, I guess. So, important recaps. Then we have a series of events where Harry is surprised by letters from his friends, and he reads them, and we get the chance to see what they're writing to him. We start with Ron, whose family won a daily profit drawing of like 700 galleons, which is a lot of money in real life. In US dollars, that's about $4,600. So, pretty big deal. And what a lovely family for it to happen to. Like, We also know that this is like a really important moment for the rest of the book because Sirius Black also sees this news clipping of them in Egypt, and he sees Peter Pettigrew on Ron's shoulder. And you know, at the beginning of this book, Sirius Black has just escaped, which his escape is spurred on by seeing this clipping in the Daily Prophet, like it's what drives him. And I love thinking about just where Sirius is at this point in the book. Like, he's been in Azkaban for 13 years. Thankfully, he's got a technique that kind of protects his mind from the from the Dementors. It protects him from their power a little bit, but it still has obviously like had its effects. And just keeping focused on his goal of revenge, and you know, James's death is what has kept him almost sane this whole time. And I'm gonna bring up Alicia Trinfio again. I talked about her a while ago. She's an Italian artist who posts a lot of stuff on Instagram. I love her work, like, love it. And she made a picture, a painting. Gosh, you can tell I am not an artistic person. I'm probably using all the wrong terms here. But she made a picture that was depicting Sirius in Azkaban and just like the mental turmoil, and I'm gonna insert it here so you can see it because it is just it'll probably go by a little bit too fast for you to see like all the details of it, so I encourage you to look her up on Instagram. I think it's a while back on her feed, so you might have to search, but it's a really cool picture that shows us the story kind of from another perspective at this point in the novel. Then we also have Hermione, who is in France, which is cool because the latest Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie was set in France. So I feel like we can kind of imagine her there now reading this book. Speaking of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, have you guys heard about the Grindelwald recasting? Johnny Depp is not going to be in the movies anymore, which is unfortunate for more reasons than one. But nevertheless, we have a new Grindelwald, and it is Mads Mikkelsen, which I've seen him in movies before, but at the moment I can't remember what. I think he's a pretty good actor. He looks the part to me, so I hope he picks up where Johnny Depp left off and just does a great job with Grindelwald's character. I'm optimistic. I think it'll be good because I like the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find the movies. I know it's a controversial issue, but I prefer to hold off judgment until the series is completed. Like, people get mad about, you know, certain things that happen in those movies, but until the series is done and you can see the full picture, I'm gonna withhold judgment on what I think. But I have liked the first and second movies. Hot take, maybe I should do a video on that, I don't know. But anyway, back to the chapter. Hermione comes through and gives Harry a broomstick servicing kit, which I feel like is the perfect present for him. And then we have Sweet Hagrid, who gives Harry the Monster Book of Monsters. We'll know why later. And the last letter he gets contains another plot point that'll become really important in this book, and that is the Hogsmeade permission slip. Now, this can seem like a really small detail or just like almost a trivial thing that Harry is focused on throughout this book, but I think that like even just from the beginning, it's J.K. Rowling setting up and reinforcing Harry's lack of a parental figure. Even if it's just subconsciously. Like, we can look at it as just another roadblock for Harry, but I think it's something more. It's preparing us for the ending of this book where we see Harry get a parental figure. And when I say parental figure, I don't just mean like a guardian. I mean like a loving parent, a supportive relationship unlike one he has ever had before. And I think that this Hogsmeade permission slip is just one of the small details that makes the ending of this book so satisfying, because we do see Harry get something that he never had, someone who's like family to him, who he wants to take care of him, and it's just nice. So I think that's something that this Hogsmeade permission slip does very well, is while it provides a little another like side plot for Harry to encounter throughout the book, it also just emphasizes the excitement of him finally getting a father figure in his life. We end this chapter, a lovely chapter. Like I said, I won't say it too much more. I love reading letters And I love seeing the effect that they have on people, especially Harry here. Like, even though, like we said, even though his friends aren't there, he has people celebrating his birthday with him. So, what a good start to this book. And then we have chapter 2. And I wanted to spend most of my time on chapter 1 and just setting up the book because I hate Aunt Marge. I cannot stand her. Like, my disdain for her is probably only second to Dolores Umbridge. Yeah, I'm gonna call it now. I think she is my second place. It's hard. I'm trying to think through all the characters in the Harry Potter series right now. But yeah, I even prefer reading about Voldemort. I like reading about Voldemort more than Aunt Marge, who is just awful. We'll go through chapter 2 pretty quickly. We start by getting a little Easter egg about Sirius Black, that he's escaped. And it's on the Muggle news, which is kind of a big deal. Like, this is a rare occurrence. We see it happen later on in the series too. We see in the 6th book, Cornelius Fudge talk to the Prime Minister of the Muggle world of England, and we get a little bit of insight into what's been happening all these years. And this is like one of the only times, besides in the 6th book, that we see things having to be posted in the Muggle news to warn them about things that are happening in the magical world without them knowing about it. Then Harry finds out that Aunt Marge is coming. He has to lie and tell her that he goes to St. Brutus's Secure Center for Incurably Criminal Boys, which Rowling just always coming in clutch with the names in these books. And Harry wants to go to Hogsmeade so bad that he is going to pretend that he's this monster that they all say he is. But we also see Harry's personality forming here. He is clever, and Harry knows how to manipulate people, honestly. He basically threatens Vernon and works out a deal with him about this. And if I were Uncle Vernon, and if, you know, he didn't hate Harry so much, I'd be kind of impressed. Like, Harry's 13 and he is learning how to get what he wants. So Marge arrives, and we know how awful she is, and the things that she says to Harry, she makes the Dursleys look nice or apathetic, at least. We see Harry have a couple of torturous days as he tries to think of anything else when Marge is in the room, and he does a really good job of controlling himself for a while, and then he snaps. And I can't say that I blame him because she's talking about his parents, saying horrible things, and he accidentally, it is literally an accident, like there's no spell he casts, so I'm glad he doesn't get in too much trouble for this, but he blows her up like a balloon. And Harry runs away. At this point, he is 13 years old. This is like the first bit of true rage that I think we see from Harry. And you know, I used to think that the 3rd movie portrayed Harry as a bit angrier than he really was, but as I read it this time around, like, I feel like they were pretty spot on. I don't know, you don't get as much us seeing Harry holding it in and doing well. We just see his snapping point in the movie, but yeah, I think that they did it justice. Harry is on the run in the night. The adrenaline is pumping. He's sure he's getting expelled, and he's just an outlaw at this point. And next we have chapter 3, which is all about the night bus and Harry's conversation with Cornelius Fudge, which I'm really excited about. The night bus, that's something else that I don't like how they did in the 3rd movie. And I'm gonna try not to harp on the 3rd movie too much, but honestly, it's like on it might be the bottom of my list as far as how the movies portrayed the books. I don't know. I have a couple that float around in that last spot, but there's just so much random crap that they throw in this, and they leave out very important details. I have one in mind right now, which we will discuss because it doesn't come till later, but yeah, it's important. I should do a ranking of the movies. That would be fun. I'm all about rankings now. We should do, yeah, favorite characters, least favorite characters, the movies. The movies might be my next one, my next special, perhaps. We will see. So that is it for today. We've covered chapters 1 and 2 of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I really hope I don't say Chamber of Secrets by accident at some point. I probably will, because I said it for a very long time. I just happen to have it sitting here too, so here they are. And it is just so exciting to be in a new book. I'm glad to get started, and this one is just so full of awesome stuff. It's gonna be fun, and like I said, 22 chapters. We're gonna be here for a while. So be sure to check in every week as we make our way through this book. Wait till we get to the 4th book. Like, that one is long. Some of those chapters would be hard to do one video on. So hopefully it'll be okay. Again, don't forget the article. It is down below. And thank you so much for watching today. I had to bring in my teacup again. Maybe it'll make an appearance next time. I don't know. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.